Morning intuitives. Actually, early morning. It's about 4 in the morning when I'm filming this because I'm awake because I have to be at work at 6 a.m. It's kind of why things have been tough with my schedule lately. 6 a.m. to 3 is, it's not a bad, terrible shift. I can handle that, but given, this time of year in July when it's like 90 degrees out, the combination of being up at like 4 in the morning and then being out in that kind of heat all day, by the time I get home and take a shower, then I don't feel like doing anything. Because getting up early is one thing, but also, being out in like 90-degree weather all day, kind of drains you as well. My workouts have been suffering, and that's starting to catch up with me. My bad knees starting to cramp up when I skip working out for about 2 weeks, and my quadricep muscles, I guess, start to atrophy. My rebuilt knee, which is a combination of reshaped bone, titanium, and cadaver tendons, starts to hurt again. And I gotta make sure that doesn't happen. But I had an idea last night, and I was too damn tired to film this. I'm gonna film it now. And the topic I want to talk about today, and hi, new subscribers, please like and subscribe, and make sure you're still subscribed, because I got this weird thing going again where it's like for every 2 subscribers I get, I lose one. And no one tells me that I pissed them off and why they're leaving. So just, if you have subscribed, make sure you're still subscribed, and thank you for subscribing. But this early morning I want to talk about INFJ Devotion, and how some people can maybe think it's too good to be true, because in a lot of ways the devotion INFJs show is like most people won't, and sometimes it does seem like something out of a novel, but I assure you it is authentic when we show it, although we can't fake it. So INFJs are very devoted to things they truly care about, be it, somebody that they love unconditionally, as rare as that is to find, but occasionally, some of us do find those elusive blue roses, without having to troll the depths of Atlantis. Yeah, I like Atlantis, but, and, in other ways, one can be devoted to a job that gives them a sense of identity and a sense of purpose. I mean, back in the day, 19-year-old me would have been the most devoted professional firefighter that ever existed, especially if I was assigned to a ladder truck, which I was working towards, and towards the technical rescue team. But, I worked out 6 days a week. I already had my EMT certs. I turned down acceptance letters to a couple big name universities to pursue that career, and I took fire science classes at night even before I had to, because those really don't help you much until you go to become a lieutenant, which is 5 years later. And, probably most notably to most people, because it involves money, is I turned down a 6-figure modeling contract to accept an offer to go to the Fire Academy in Arlington in 2006. Maybe I have to do a video about 2006 one day, because it is by far, thus far, the most pivotal year in my life. But anyway, that's how devoted I was to that profession, which I saw as my sense of purpose and identity, and my way to help people in a profession that would allow me to do that, and also a profession that embraces, at least on paper, honor and integrity, teamwork, brotherhood, that whole thing. And for the most part, that's true, although the profession is still under the corrupted influence to some degree of the old boys club, which me and some other people aiding me from the shadows are trying to change. And we are making strides. That legacy family in Arlington, bye-bye. Too bad, so sad, bye-bye. Hey, Will, where's your career? Get in the coffin. But anyway, INFJ devotion can take many forms, and it's always authentic. As INFJs, we are very authentic people. We are terrible at pretending to be something we're not, or faking it. I'm going to say it. I wonder, you always hear the stories about how, most women can fake orgasms. Something tells me INFJ women would be pretty bad at that. You know, for instance, because I can't fake being interested in a woman that I'm not interested in, and no matter how aggressive they are, like even like if they strip naked and try to jump me, it doesn't. It's just like, nah, there's no emotional connection. You're pretty, and this is awkward and robotic, and it's not going to happen. But being a demisexual, it's interesting. In some ways, it's interesting. In other ways, it's awful boring. As I said to the detective giving me my lie detector test a few years ago to get hired as a firefighter again, she's like, all right, next we're going to get into your sex life. I'm like, oh, we still have an hour and a half. What are we going to do with the other hour and 25 minutes after we're done discussing that? But, because there's not that much to tell. It's within the confines of the handful of people I was in relationships with over the years. So, INFJ devotion, goes hand in hand with our all or nothing syndrome because, again, not only can we not fake something, it's either all or nothing. When an INFJ decides to do something, we're either all in or we're all out. There's no half-assing it. A job, for example, that an INFJ has no sense of purpose with. Let's say the pay's not good, the hours suck, like there's no redeeming job or no redeeming qualities about the job. Yeah, they're just not really going to care because what's the point? There's nothing for them to really hold on to it. Like, I talked before when I was an assistant golf course superintendent at top 100 clubs. I didn't give a shit about that. I had no sense of purpose. It was a joke to me. It's like I'm taking care of a fucking playground for shitty money, and I work 65 to 80 hours a week. Like, I don't care. It's like, ooh, I'm in meetings with Tiger Woods. He's a fucking asshole. He offered me his autograph and I refused. I said, there's nothing good about who you are. But, I use that as an example to say, if there's nothing like that the INFJ sees as meaningful, and it doesn't have to, sometimes it doesn't have to be the sense of like, oh, well, this job gives me purpose and identity. Sometimes, say, for like an INFJ who's married with children, if that job, even if they don't really believe in it, as long as they don't absolutely despise it, that they might be like, oh, well, this job's just okay. I don't really feel like I'm doing anything for the greater good, but it's providing well for my family in that sense. That INFJ would be devoted to that job through the idea that he or she is completely devoted to their family, and that would give them purpose. But in my case, a job, regardless, who cares? To me, like, oh, working top in my field and all these big name people, that didn't mean shit to me. It's like, wow, this job, the pay sucks. It's 7 days a week. It destroyed my relationship with the woman I dated, like towards the end of my time in college, most of my time at Penn State, because I wasn't at Penn State the whole time. 7 days a week, not getting to see my friends, pay sucks, no sense of purpose, identity, no fulfillment. So, of course, I was not devoted to it. I daydreamed all the time about being a firefighter then, but recession, hiring freezes. And this is even more pronounced in love. When an INFJ is devoted to somebody, like in a romantic setting, it is real. Like, there is no ulterior motive. They're not trying to get something from you for many reasons. One being that INFJs only seek to be around people that they actually want to be around. If you're not somebody that the INFJ actually likes spending time with and talking to and opening up to in deep conversations, they're not going to go out of their way to spend time with you. I mean, they'll be polite from time to time, and there are people that INFJs consider like, yeah, they're fine in small doses, but they'll find reasons to minimize that contact most of the time. And also, most of us are demisexuals, so the idea that, the stereotypical guy just, trying to get you in bed, no, if an INFJ doesn't have an emotional connection to you, he's going to, be fine with not having a sex life for a while. We're not like the type to be like, well, I don't really like her. She's not all that great, but man's got needs. Not really. No, not us. So that's not like something we would do. So if we're devoted to somebody, if we're showing devotion, it is authentic. As I mentioned before, we're terrible at faking it too. And this at times can seem like it's too good to be true, but in our case, it really is. Like we're just that authentic, and along with not being good at faking stuff, we're not the type to bother putting in the effort to anything that isn't important to us, but for something that is important to us, be it somebody we're truly devoted to and see as, quite possibly a contender for unconditional love or that dream job. Yeah, that devotion's real, and we'll pretty much go to the ends of the earth to prove that. INFJs in general, um, when we're showing devotion to something, it's not really like we're expecting anything in return. Certainly not in a relationship to get someone to do something that they're uncomfortable with in the bedroom, because we would A, never do that, and B, when we hear about people we care about being put in those situations, oh man, the INFJ rage comes, and sometimes fists fly. It all depends on the situation. No, when an INFJ is showing devotion, along with that devotion being authentic, it's simple what the INFJ is asking for in return: a fair shot. Because sadly, many of us INFJs don't get fair shots. I mean, the same can be said for many introverts, because INFJs are big on proving themselves through their own merit, not through like, well, I'm friends with this person who's popular, and my family name and money, and my grandfather did all this cool stuff 60 years ago. No, like we want to be judged for who we are as a person, not who we associate with, or you know, because we hate nepotism, cronyism, and double standards, and want to change the status quo, of course. So that's really all, if an INFJ is showing devotion to a person or a job, all that INFJ is really asking for is a fair shot to be, judged on who we are as a person or how we perform that job, and to completely eliminate from the equation our lack of, membership in the old boys club and like-minded stuff. And I'll touch on it briefly because I'm not really one who can talk about this, but INFJs are very much devoted parents. When INFJs view unconditional love above all, like if we had to choose between, you know, dream person, lower middle class life, or settling for somebody else and multi-millions, we're gonna choose the first one every time. So of course, any children that the INFJ has, they're, for us, there's nothing we wouldn't do, and there's nothing that could be more important. And INFJ men especially, well, I'm not saying like compared to INFJ women, but compared to other men, are certainly like more active and devoted fathers, than the stereotypical like father knows best, man go to work, woman stay at home thing. Um, because our devotion can, easily make us be like, well, if she doesn't want to give up her job, I'll do it, or go part time, put it on the back burner because I want to be there for the baby. We like babies too, but that idea of, you know, making sure the baby's taken care of, and not just financially, would certainly come first to a devoted INFJ father, certainly above like, well, I want to go to the pub with the boys, or I want to play golf on the weekend, or whatever. Because again, when we find something to be devoted to, we go all out, all or nothing. There's no halfway with INFJ devotion. So if you are in a situation, be it as if you have an INFJ employee, or an INFJ significant other, if they seem like a very sincere, devoted person, that's because they are. We can't fake it. We can't go halfway with it. So if you're noticing devotion from an INFJ, it's the real deal. So remember, in with your remember to trust your intuition, INFJs. If you feel like something is worth being devoted to, don't be devoted to something just to have something to be devoted to, or because people say you should be devoted to a job that sucks. And remember, don't sell out your integrity trying vainly to be devoted to something you're not, just to try to get ahead, especially if it's a job that exploits people. You shouldn't be devoted to that, no matter how much money they offer you.